Hello and welcome to another ALTTPR Race League here on Speed Gaming Channel. We have a matchup today in the Misery Mire division of the Dark World Conference between Land of the Blind and the Missing Bow. BenCreighton representing the Land of the Blind and Taale representing the Missing Bow. I am Worldwide Wimpy, one of your commentators today, and joined with me today is Revolving Ocelot. How are you doing today, my dude?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day outside. I can't spend too much time outside due to the problems in the world, but we've got fantastic races coming up here all week. I mean, I already caught two races yesterday, and they were both extremely good. So I am definitely looking forward to the fun today. So starting off with said fun, it looks like we're going to have one of our first parts of this mystery seed being revealed, and that is Randomizer settings of some kind. It could still be vanilla, it could decide not to shuffle anything at all, but we know that Randomizer, maybe in some form, is going to be in the mix.
And that is what our Week 4 setting is for the league. It is a mystery seed. We don't quite know what it's going to be. We know it is at bare minimum 3 crystals to hurt Ganon if you have to defeat a pig. At least 3 crystals to enter into Ganon's tower. It may be a pull pedestal seed. We don't know yet. So, before we go ahead and start, I just want to thank Penguin Tamer for being our tracker for this race. We'll see how confusing all of this will be between the two runners in this mystery seed. Now, both of these teams are sitting at the bottom of the Misery Mire division with 3 points. But, you know, a good week here or there, you're able to jump up and be in contention in making the playoffs.
Absolutely. Now, if you want to check out the chances of stuff popping up in Mystery, I have posted a link in chat, and you can also duplicate that link by typing !mystery. You can check the likelihood of certain settings that are going to be in this mystery seed. So for right now, we know there's going to be some kind of Randomizer setting. So there's a 15% chance of an Randomizer happening. Right? It could be 85% none, 5% shuffled, and 10% random. So as well as the boss shuffle, which I believe is 30% chance of happening. So it could be enemies, it could be bosses. We don't know yet. We're going to have to find out.
And it's a mystery. What isn't a mystery is you can follow both of these runners by hitting that !C command or !R command into the chat. You can do the same thing for your tracking and commentating teams as well with !C as we start off in Link's House and Sanctuary. Finding just finding just a piece of heart and a rupee inside as we get a map check. There is a pendant in Hera and a red crystal, I do believe, in Eastern.
Yep, that's correct. And as well as a regular crystal at Desert. So it looks like we're not dealing with this enemy shuffle, at least, because those are regular guards sitting right outside Hyrule Castle. Essentially, were green cucumbers in outside the Death Mountain entrance. I don't know the actual name. They're just cucumbers. They kind of electrocute you.
Yeah, it looks as though this is going to be a boss shuffle of some type. We don't quite know just yet. It could be simple, which means we're going to see a repeat of Landmola's, Armos, and the Moldorm. It could be full shuffle, which means we're going to see duplicates of any 3 bosses somewhere, or it could be fully randomized.
Now, BenCreighton just had a little look at Aga 1, at the Lumberjack ledge just there. It looks like a red item. I believe it was a red rupee, but I don't think it was a cane or a red boomerang. But it was a really quick look, so he's left it behind for now, so it's probably not worth looking at further. Grabs a heart container in Lost Woods, though, and Taale is already going into escape with just the bombs and Cane of Burner. In fact, 1 bomb.
Finding that Cane of Burner inside of the Uncle's Well over off the side of Hyrule Castle. Not so much progression right now for Ben.
He uses his 1 bomb there to try and kill the blue guard. Unfortunately, it didn't to actually hit him, so had to use a cane to finish it. So that's his 1 bomb lost. If he chooses to go into the back of escape, it would be entirely in the dark, so he's probably not feeling too good about going just there just yet.
And those blue guards take 2 bombs to kill in the escape sequence. The green guards are 1, so it was more or less trying to conserve a little bit more magic before heading into the back with a Zelda's cell. As we see Ben farming up some bombs here with this little arrow pointer bush right before the flute dig spot. So we find a book inside the Bloomerang vanilla chest in the escape sequence as Ben heads up into his Kakariko village.
Interesting early access to Desert Palace there. Not a lot you can do really much in there. Having boots kind of decentralizes it, and you definitely can't complete it without the gloves. So there's bombs on the base game for BenCreighton. He's already got 3 bombs farmed up, so he's not going to go around and grab those. And Taale is just going for throwing pots at the guards. See, whilst he was using bombs to help make his earlier kills on guards a bit more efficient, he's still got plenty of magic. And yeah, with 1 bomb, he doesn't want to go into the back of escape just yet. So just preserving magic, I guess. And I would have just drained the magic and kept the bombs myself, but that's me.
And that was a mirror on the library bookshelf. We know we're gonna need those boots eventually to get that mirror as we find the magic powder in the back of the tavern. Perhaps that was the mystery ingredient which made their drinks so good.
If people were spiking my drinks with weird powders, I'd honestly be suing the establishment.
As Ben finds 300 rupees inside of the chicken hut. Gonna be buying some more supply of explosions here.
Have you seen what that powder does? You sprinkle it on stuff and it turns into blob creatures or random flying fairies. I would not want that in my drink. No, can you imagine what happened to you if you had a drink infused with magic powder?
I mean, it originally comes from a witch, so I mean, who knows what it will do? Maybe it's only topical. Maybe if you ingest it, it does nothing.
With that early book in tow, Taale is already heading up to a pedestal. It's a little piece of love. Pet dead really early on. Just the way pet should be. Ben grabs even more bombs in the basement of Blind's hut, and he's actually overcapping his bombs now, so his farming wasn't technically necessary. He could have started from Sanctuary and just gone inside and grabbed his bombs, but, you know, if you don't find, there's a chance you don't find any bombs in Kakariko, and so that would make farming quite necessary, so it's a gamble, really.
Sometimes better safe than sorry. You know there's plenty of bombs in the pool. Later, inside certain dungeons, you can farm up bombs relatively easily. So, not a bad play. It doesn't take too long to farm up 3 bombs with those bushes outside of the Stumpy Check in Light World. There are those boots inside of Kakariko Well.
Early boots and early sword. I loving this so far. And 300 rupees in the back.
This is going to be nice and easy for Ben to get that mirror off that library ledge, and lots of rupees inside of Kakariko Well. We're going to be cash flushed super early.
So Taale's going to use his 1 single bomb here, but he's actually going to be totally fine because he's just going to pick up 6 more here. Ben dashing down to go retrieve that mirror, but he does not have the book yet from the front of escape, so we could be seeing an early Desert Palace play from Taale, and maybe check again at the same time, but he still wouldn't be able to complete it, but he can grab all the items in the front and potentially what's on the desert ledge. I would definitely be considering that after, well, if I was to go to South Hyrule after this, I would do probably the dam, and then I could do Mini World Dorm, I could or just dash straight to Desert Palace. There's a few options available here.
Now, just to remind you folks, we do have 2 races currently going on the Speed Gaming Network in the ALTTPR League, so if this one happens to go short, which is potential with the Mystery Seed, we do have races available for you this afternoon, and we have 12 more matches going up all the way through late tonight at 11:10 p.m. Eastern. So if you like racing and you like Link to the Past and you like Randomizer, Tuesday is the day that you want to do it. We have plenty of matchups for you guys.
Now, to mention how quick this race could be, some of the mystery settings can be... oh, there's a Quake medallion under the water in the dam. But anyway, there is a 25% chance that you need 7 crystals to access Ganon's tower. So only 25%, so 75% chance you need less crystals to access a tower. But 40% chance that you need 7 crystals to make Ganon vulnerable, and compared to 60% chance that you need less crystals. For instance, a race I covered yesterday, you only needed 3 crystals to make Ganon vulnerable, but you needed 6 to enter the tower. So that can throw a curveball into things. Now, if one of the other mystery things about this seed is that it could be fast Ganon. So if our runners make it into the Dark World and check out the top of the pyramid, if there's a hole already busted in the pyramid, you do not need to worry about Ganon's tower access. You can just go straight to Ganon.
As we find the Moon Pearl inside of Mini Moldorm Cave, more than likely Ben's going to be doing either a water walk or fake flippers to loop in the Azor check with this South Shore dip. Makes perfect sense. You've got enough rupees to go ahead and do it and eliminate 4 possible checks, maybe even 5 if you are able to store a water walk.
Yeah, it is pretty easy storing a water walk here using the Ice Rod Cave and having the boots enables that. So you will definitely be seeing some people check out here the Waterfall Cave and King's Zora, and maybe checking out the Hobo at the same time. Although you can't so much store a water walk there, you have to go back and fake flippers if you choose to escape the Hobo. So as we see there, BenCreighton is dashing to the side of the cave exit there. This puts him in a funny state where if he... okay, he's actually going to go from down here. He's jumping in. Great, there's his water walk. Usually I see it's done from the step ladder to the right that's there. Ah, okay, yeah, he's running into trouble.
That you have to jump off a waterfall there from the north part of the cave. The best way to do that is if you head to the right and head south and do that screen transition and jump from the ladder from the right-hand side.
Yes, that would be why I see mostly everybody else do it from that step ladder and nobody do it from up there, because clearly it doesn't work.
I can tell you Ben has been practicing that. He had not yet put that fully into his rotation, so not surprising that he happened to have forgotten that he needs a screen transition, but worth the try anyway. As he enters into his escape sequence, going to be finding that Kana Burna and finding the book inside through the escape sequence with the Zelda. It would be interesting to see if Ben decides to go ahead and do Dark Cross and head to the back of escape ahead of time. He does have the sword for some illumination, so that will help a lot.
Like some of the most dangerous rooms in the Dark Escape can be the rooms filled with snakes that you have to... but if you can just dash through those with the sword and the boots, then they pose very little threat to you. I think the hardest thing in Dark Escape is finding the key rat, but again, if you can get over there really quickly, the rat doesn't tend to escape from you. So you can track him down, grab a key, and proceed into the back. And it's of course that this war key isn't in the Dark Cross chest, of course.
And the mouse with the key can be a little difficult, as you said, but if you happen to be wearing headphones, you can actually hear where it's going left and right with the squeaks, thanks to the randomizer and stereo settings. So it's not that bad. As we're getting a hobo check here from Taale, our friendly neighborhood hobo who lives underneath the bridge. He has for us just 20 roops.
Now, Taale cannot do a water walk here, but he can set up a fake flipper just by jumping in the water at the correct spot to instantly screen transition and keep himself in the swimming state. So he has gotten an absolute ton of cash at the moment, so he can easily pay off King Zora and still have enough money left over for potions later, or entry to Dark Palace, digging game, whatever he fancies really.
As we see a full heart container on top of the greatest vacation spot in all of Hyrule, the Hylian Lake Island.
I mean, is it really that great a vacation spot? You've got one of those green cucumbers, and if you look at it funny, it's going to electrocute you.
Alright, Charles the Pickle there is a super friendly guy. Don't judge him, okay? Just don't do that.
I don't know. You can talk to him after you sprinkle powder on him, and he just kind of rambles at you about random nonsensical things. But he does become more friendly.
As we find a bow inside of the waterfall ferry that's going to put Eastern Palace into the rotation for a full clear with the sequence break, as we just find some explosions on the Zora Ledge. We're going to get a friendly fish-faced friend visit here from Taale as Ben goes through his dark rooms in the escape sequence.
Now, I was talking about Desert Palace earlier, but Eastern Palace is definitely going to be the better play at this point because with the Mystery Seed ratings, you will always need at minimum 3 crystals to face Ganon, and there's Power Gloves on Zora.
So we were either flips locked from that, or we will have another glove somewhere early on.
Indeed. So you're always going to need 3 crystals to face off against Ganon either way. So you want to try and target crystals that are easy to begin with, and then maybe go for the harder, more difficult ones later. Because when you get those 3 crystals, you can think, "Oh, I really should get to the pyramid at this point, or the tower, and see if I can get in or not."
As we see Ben going through his dark sequence, he's got 2 more dark rooms to go. The last one containing that said rat with the key. Just need to head over left and let go of a spin, and more than likely you'll knock him right out.
Ooh, Green Pendant Ice Palace. I love that. Ice Palace should be ignored as much as possible, in my totally professional opinion.
Ice Palace actually now, once you do find the Cane of Samaria, is actually super easy to progress through now with the Icebreakers glyph.
Never guarantee you can go in there with Cane of Samaria, though. The randomizer expects you to have Cane if it's going to store I believe, a small key on cold stare. But if there's no small key on cold stare, it expects you to clear without the Cane. And there's those flippers in the back of Escape. So
that means the flippers were either lamp or glove locked. There is a glove or lamp somewhere. We don't know where, but it's somewhere. Because we know there's a glove on Zora, so...
Yeah, I'm thinking it's got to be somewhere in Eastern Palace, Desert Palace, or Regina at this point. We've seen everywhere else.
As Ben is heading over into his flippers checks, going to find the bow and those gloves once he does go over to Waterfall Ferry and Zora. Going to be about 2 minutes behind Taale and going over into Eastern. But at this point, this is still anyone's game, as we don't know what bosses may be where.
Oh yeah, we might end up with a unpleasant Trinex surprise at the end of Eastern Palace, at which point you just take that fancy mirror and mirror straight out of it. We save a crit because there's nothing else to do in the Eastern area. So if this is a boss shuffle Randomizer setting, we do not know what kind of boss shuffle it could be. If it's if I believe it's a bit simple boss shuffle, then we'll be just ending up with 2 Moldorms, 2 Amos Knights, or 2 Lamolas somewhere in the game. But if it's full boss shuffle, then we could be ending up with duplicate Cold Stares, Trinexes, Arguses, all the annoying bosses that need specific items to kill.
But only 2 of any 3 of those bosses. But we could have the full randomization, which means we can find 5 Trinexes for all we know.
Yes. So full boss shuffle was a thing in the previous week, but we can have completely randomized boss shuffle, and we could end up with Trinexes literally everywhere. And there's that lamp.
And there's the lamp that puts the flippers and that glove into logic, that also puts Death Mountain into logic as well.
So there's a huge potential for sequence breaking here.
With that mirror, you're going to be able to climb up Hera. You have a book, so you check the tablet there. So it's just a question of whether or not you want to head over into Desert Palace and see what kind of boss it is. As we know, it's some type of boss shuffle. Could be anything. As Ben picks up his glove, and we see Taale finishing out the rest of Eastern Palace.
So as we've seen, the sequence breaks have proven quite a bit more beneficial for Taale here, having this head start going into Eastern Palace. And yeah, if you were to follow the seed completely logically, you'd be expected to dip into Eastern Palace, then go out, go get your flippers from the back of Escape, go get bow from the waterfall area, and then come back to Eastern Palace and maybe finish off whatever bosses are here at the back. So that's a mean logical step to take, and you could waste a lot of time there, or you could just sequence break.
So there are only, I think, 3 bosses currently we cannot beat. Since we do not have Ice and Fire Rod for Trinex, no Fire Rod or Bombos for Cold Stare, and no Hook Shot for Argus. Otherwise, everything else is in logic for you to kill. Helmasaur, you can just remove his mask with bombs. You have the bow for Armos, easy Armos kills. Lemolas and the Moldorm just need a simple sword. So does Blind and the Mothman.
So there's no guarantee we'll be fighting Armos Knights in the back here, but you still need a bow to kill off these red Igors to get it, and that's Argus. So, yep, we're dealing with boss shuffle of some kind.
Yeah, at what level, we don't know yet. We won't know until we probably see 3 or 4 different bosses.
So there's some potential for Trinex accidents everywhere here. You're definitely going to want to track down that Fire Rod and Ice Rod now. So Taale's going to go for the other option and take the other dungeon that's now pretty much fully available to him, Desert Palace.
Makes sense. It's a crystal versus a pendant for Tower of Hera. As he goes ahead and gets through their damn checks, just arrows, and I do believe it was a heart container outside.
So we are looking at one other means of Dark World access right now. It's quite likely to be in Desert Palace or Tower of Hera, but if it's not, then we could be seeing Aga 1 today. We do need either another glove or the hammer to pop up. We've got all the other necessary keys, but if we wanted to be seeing Aga 1, then you do not want the cape or the second sword to be appearing, because that would put that in access instead.
As it was Quake outside, my apologies.
Yeah.
Quake Medallion outside of the dam, as Taale's going to visit an old man in the desert. Going to check the desert ledge first, makes perfect sense. Loop it in to get the ending with Agina.
Yeah, if you end up with a boss you can't kill at Lambolas, you can mirror outside, go straight out to Agina. If you couldn't get into the back of Desert, you could also go to Agina after doing the front portion of Desert Palace. It's fairly convenient.
As Ben picking up his lamp here in the big chest of Eastern Palace, Taale enters into Desert Palace here. Be interesting to see if they check the torch first or the chest. Most people check the chest. Yep. Either way, this is fully accessible, so not a big deal.
There's that small key, so he's got to go to the right side to grab his stuff over there, and then he head over to a torch and big chest. There's that big key. And a map, so everything's lurking on the left. Ben is also going to continue in Eastern Palace, get the unpleasant Argus surprise at the end, and probably be following behind Taale and going into Desert Palace too. That's missing out on that one sequence break outside Icefall Cave has unfortunately cost Ben quite a few minutes here. It's nothing he can't catch up on depending on how the rest of the race goes, but he's at a slight disadvantage here so far.
As there are the Titansmiths, we do now have Dark World access, and we have complete Dark World access with the flippers. The only thing that may be locked is the big red bomb without a hammer, as there's no real easy way to get that bomb over to the pyramid without doing some chicanery. Now, I would expect, with that Moon Pearl and Titansmiths, that Taale more than likely is going to head up Death Mountain before accessing the Dark Village. since you can go ahead and do Hera and loop all of that into if you happen to find a hookshot or hammer here.
Well, you've only got access to Hera up on Death Mountain. You'd really want to get over to the east side if you could. But no hammer, no hookshot makes that. I wouldn't say that's too enticing at the moment. I would much rather just go straight Dark World and start clearing out Phyllis of Outcasts, take a peek into Skull Words, clear out the south side too. There's a lot available to him that's not Death Mountain. So let's see what's in the back of Desert. It is Lamulus. Yeah, if you don't happen to see a boss in the room, it's always going to be Lamulus.
So we get bow strats from Taale. This is probably the worst strats you can do. Bow does do a little bit more damage than sword, but hitting that Lamola head with the arrow is quite more difficult than it seems.
If you can land his shots through, then you can definitely get a quicker kill than with a sword. It's 8 hits per Lamulus with a fighter sword.
As we found Ice Rod inside of Agina's cave. We'll see if Taale skips it. That would
not
give...
a bad find. Like, you're going to be dealing with Trinexes somewhere, so having the Ice Rod, particularly in the location where you don't have to think about, oh no, I've got a last location is somewhere in the seed. Having the Ice Rod pop up early just means you've got one half of a Trinex equation taken care of, in case of accidents.
As Taale is going over into Agina's cave to pick up that Ice Rod. As Ben enters into Desert Palace.
Now Ben is probably going to have a more efficient Lamulus kill here because he has that Ice Rod. It's got a pretty large hitbox and a slow travel speed, which makes it particularly useful for hitting the Lamoli. I guess you could call him a plural.
Lamolas?
Lamuluses.
Labalabalabala's.
Nah, we only use the Labalabas when we're mangling Shahasrala's name. Anyway, yeah, he should have an easier job killing off the Lamulus here with that Ice Rod.
As we are getting Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb checks from Taale, perfectly routed in here for you to head over and check before you head into the Dark Village. Now, it may have been a little bit better to loop that in with Graveyard Ledge instead of just orphaning off Graveyard Ledge once you do enter into Dark World. But
if I may interrupt you just here, he started dashing past the graveyard, completely forgetting about a back for escape. He kind of wants to go back there to go get his flippers. But anyway, please continue.
As Ben picks up his Titan Switch, yeah, it's still not a bad play to get Bonk Rocks and Graveyard or King's Tomb now. It just means that without that cape, you might be orphaning off Graveyard Ledge, and Graveyard Ledge is fully accessible. Even if you didn't have the Titan Smiths, you have a sword to cut down a bush. You've got the mirror. It's probably likely that it has an item on it.
Yeah, so Taale's going to go for the back of escape backwards here.
Again, makes sense. This is going to give Ben a little bit of catch-up time since he was able to sequence break this part of escape.
True, but at the same time, Ben spent more time clearing it because he didn't have that lamp, so you're fumbling around in the dark. Again, you've got the boots and sword for that, so you can still make it pretty efficient and get through stuff quickly, but not quite as quickly as you could with a light source in front of you. We're probably just talking seconds here.
As we get that Bonk Rock to check from Taale, what do we have inside? Just 20 bucks. Ben starts his Lamola's fight. He's going to get that Ice Rod out. Freeze these Lamolas.
gives that one a poke of sword instead of hitting it the ice foot. He doesn't have too many shots left. Okay, yeah, he's just going for spin strats now. Oh, no, switching to bow.
As we get a Dark World check, I did see a red crystal in Skull Woods. I did not see where the other pendant was, though.
Unfortunately, I was looking on the left side of the screen. But our tracker, if he's been paying attention, and he is definitely paying attention, should have that available for us very shortly. And there's a hook shot in the chess game. "10 hours in the C-shaped house." Probably be seeing a quick trip into not Skullwoods, Thieves Town here.
Thieves Town is a crystal, so it is completable, just not full clearable.
Yeah, dipping into it without the hammer is always kind of iffy. You really want to... Hey, there's a second sword. You really want that hammer just to make things safe. There's chances are that you might just end up not finding the map and compass, and it's going to be in that big chest, or you have a small key that locks itself in the big chest. So,
And
there's a good chance...
what makes that choice a little bit harder is that you have access to the boss right now. You don't have to go bomb the floor. So if you find a boss that you can kill, you may decide to orphan off the back of Thieves Town completely.
Absolutely. Clearing out the back of Thieves Town compared to just doing the front and the boss is quite a bit slower and for not that many items. So without the hammer, I could definitely see Taale putting that off until later. Much later.
We've got 2 unique items in the frontier. So
and
there are 2...
Oh, he's mirroring out. Okay, he's not going to check the boss.
Interesting. This could be a boss that you could kill right now, but probably saying, there's 2 more items, I'll put it off until later. Or forgetting that you have access to the boss right now, maybe. We really don't have insight as to what the runners are doing, that's why we have a post-race interview.
Yeah, if you're not used to Randomizer, then the no major requirement for blind can definitely throw you in a loop.
As the other pendant is in Thieves Town, that's why he decided not to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
And we know it's not a pen seed, so... Taale doing a good job there. And
7 ticks for a piece of heart.
Ben heads into a Skullwoods dip. This is going to allow him to route in that graveyard ledge and picks up a shovel in the first check on the right-hand side of Skullwoods.
So Taale's going to be doing a lot of checks here on the way. He can even route in the Bomber's tablet if he so chose. And I imagine he can get into the water and swim over to the east side and get up to a pyramid there. And from there, he can establish if it's fast Ganon or not and how many crystals he needs in total. So I like this routing compared to just staying in the dungeon to check out the items. Information is useful in Mystery Seed.
As we find our first bottle here in Cave 45.
$20 from Stumpy to convert him half into a tree.
Oh, and there are the silver arrows. Those are our 2 unique items inside of Skullwoods. Ben forgetting that he has the mirror to quick warp, but is going to take a Woolmaster ride back to the entrance. So that is going to make boss fights a little bit easier for BenCreighton going forward with that silver arrow. Should we find things that are vulnerable to arrows? Ben, where are you going?
Right, he's going back in the dungeon.
Ben, you've got your 2 items, dude. Ben, you found the shovel and the arrows. There's literally no need for you to do anything else. As I think he remembers this. I didn't say it at the beginning of the race, but I am on Ben's team, so you may hear me go, "What are you doing, my dude?" So, I'm not rooting against Taale, but I'm definitely cheering for Ben.
Oh, I have no stake in this race. I just like seeing I just love seeing the races, and I can call out mistakes and not feel guilty for it at all.
Same. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't root against anyone. I want to see a good race. But if I have a little bit of a stake in the pie, I'm definitely going to go, come on. As we find the hammer and hype cave along with the second bottle, 300 rupees, and a fire rod.
It's a really good hype cave.
Super hype cave today.
He also doesn't need to swim around now, so if he chooses to do 5 and 6 later and do the pyramid fair, he could do that quite easily now. And the 5 and 6 are Eastern Palace and Swan Palace, so we wouldn't be needing the hammer to clear those dungeons, but don't have to worry now, got that hammer anyway. He's actually not choosing to check out the pyramid immediately, he's heading over into Palace of Darkness. Not a bad play because it's a crystal dungeon he can fully clear. He's also got the lamp to make it super free and easy. He knows he's going to need at least 3 crystals to do whatever in Seed, and there's a lot of potential items he can get in Palace of Darkness. So, yeah, going through this before pyramid, might as well. Doesn't cost him either way.
Since we know that we're not on a pedestal seed, since it is an item, it didn't say you win when he checked it, so we know we have to have a certain level of crystals anyway. And after clearing out the Palace of Darkness, you just simply mirror and go kill yourself an Argus in the back of Eastern.
Absolutely. In fact, I forgot that Argus is at the back of Eastern, so as he gets to the end of this dungeon, if it's a boss he can kill, which is... I think he can kill every boss at this point with their items. I don't think
yes.
Yes, they've got Fire Rod, Ice Rod, Herc Shot, and Master Sword for Offense. I think they're pretty much covered. So, whatever boss he finds in the back of Palace of Darkness here, he's not going to have problems with. And then he can just mirror over and kill Argus. And that would be 2 crystals done and dusted.
As Ben heads into his South Dark World checks, going to find the bottle in K45. We do have an additional check to make with Ben with that shovel.
Interesting that, you can't pick up the blacksmith before doing the digging game. If you do pick up the blacksmith and try to do the digging game, the proprietor gets really angry at you. But I'd be interested if he also decides to skip the blacksmith and not bring him back, because that's totally free and easy to do with a mirror. And he can also just take the blacksmith on a world tour and bring him around and then bring him back to the to his forge. So yeah, he is going to go back and get that blacksmith. See if he hands it in immediately or not.
Yeah, you could also loop in the purple chest, and since we do have Master Sword, you can open up that Bombos tablet as well. So right now, it's probably the most efficient time to do it.
Yeah, the only big problem here is that you're going to be leaving hammer pegs behind. And we know the hammer's in the hype cave, so doing a world tour with the blacksmith would actually be pretty beneficial here. So BenCreighton is going to check out Magic Bat first, which is totally possible thanks to having that mirror. But it does mean he leaves the mirror portal behind, and we'll need to go back into Dark World if he chooses to keep doing checks in there.
It's not a bad little reroute. With those boots, you can just dash right through Kakariko, pick up that big heavy stone, and get back. It probably cuts in about 15 seconds of the routing, but again, there's really honestly no better time to do it. As you can also loop in Bottle Boy here as we find our 3rd bottle on the altar for the sacrificial bat. As we are progressing our way through the Palace of Darkness. No big key, so no hammer jump.
Well, there's your big key.
As Ben finds a shield from the Dwarven Breadsmiths.
You cannot take the mirror portal back to go and get the purple chest, so they're actually going to do the Sig Kit check now. I haven't seen this yet, I believe.
So, with that fire shield, I think that does mean we are in a normal item pool versus the hard or expert or whatever it is called, the hardest setting. So,
absolutely.
We will find mail upgrades somewhere in this. We also have more swords inside of the pool, so Still lots of items that you probably want to check that will make your life a little bit easier.
Ben is being right outside Lost Woods. I guess I'm going to check Pestle now. Ooh, nice tempered sword in the Dark Maze.
And there's the tempered. Taale basically has everything that you want, maybe outside of a medallion to go ahead and complete the seed once they do find out how many crystals it takes.
Yeah, we are really waiting on that information right now. So Ben's going to see this isn't a pedestal seed. You don't need to put a pedestal for an item or to finish a game. You just, if you are lacking love in your life and you want more love, you can pull that ped. But that's all you would pull it for. And Taale, done with clearing out items in Paths of Darkness, is on their way to potentially Helma's or potentially something else.
Just unfortunately for Ben, the longer he puts off Hype Cave, the more and more time he is losing to Taale here.
The blacksmith wasn't a bad choice to go for, but it's definitely costing him time right now because these were items that he doesn't need. All of the items he needs are sitting in Hype Cave, as far as we know. But he's going to pick up that purple chest, and he will have to take this purple chest on a little bit of a tour. May bring it over to Hype Cave, may just return it straight to its recipient.
Well, I'm going to tell you that Ben's going to check K45, mirror back into the Dark World, and leave that chest behind as he has those boots. There is a little bit of an exploit you can do. As long as you stay within Dark World, the game still thinks you have the chest behind you. So if you mirror right next to the locksmith, he thinks you have the chest, and he opens it for you and gives you that item.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll see if he actually does go and do that or not. I imagine he probably know better if he will go and do it, because you race with him, right?
Yes, and I saw him practicing it yesterday. He's
moving you alive right now because he's bringing it along with him.
Come on, Ben, you know this trick works. You can put it anywhere in the Dark World. As long as you stay in Dark World, it's fine. Oh, well, he does have to check shovel, so that makes sense. As we find our first cold stair inside of Palace of Darkness. So he'll probably leave the chest now and do that. So I forgot he had shovel, so...
Yeah, he's leaving it behind now. Now he's going to dash over and
so
hand it in using...
Right now, the worst thing for Taale here would be a death on Cold Stare. That's going to allow Ben to catch up to him in time.
With that tempered sword, these cold stares are going down like a hot knife through ice cream.
Bacon. Bacon. Because the sword kind of looks like bacon.
The cold stares are ice cream puffs.
There's bacon in ice cream. You could do that if you wanted.
So Taale makes her way out of Paths of Darkness, just going to mirror over and go straight into Eastern Palace and finish off at Argus now.
Makes sense. It's going to give you 3 crystals. That might be all that you need to complete this seed. As Ben bonks on the skull there, bonks on Swamp Palace. Going to be entering Hype Cave, getting that fire rod and hammer. And
so
more than likely going to be feeling super behind.
Potentially. He's definitely a little bit behind Taale right now. Taale is ahead pretty much 1 dungeon and is about to shortly make that to 2 dungeons. Ben has cleared out most of Eastern Palace except for that Argus, so again, they just have to proceed into the back. But they could be wasting a lot of time in Paths of Darkness and they don't need to. Perhaps Ben will check out the pyramid first, see how many crystals he needs, and then decides, I'm just going to rush crystals. I'm not going to bother with clearing out the left side of Paths of Darkness, and that could save him time.
Unfortunately, the big key is on the left side in the Terrapin room, so there's no easy way to go mode yourself through Palace of Darkness until you get that big key.
Yeah, you can avoid the dark maze and the dark basement though. You just simply have to go for get that big key from the Terrapin room, then go through Harmless Hellway and back on the route to the boss.
Just
So yeah,
unfortunately, that temperat's in the bottom right-hand chest of the Dark Maze, so...
yes. That could be big. So he's going to check out the pyramid now. It doesn't look like you need 3 crystals to beat Ganon, and there's no hole bust in the roof. So we've got to get in the tower, and it's not going to be 3 crystals to enter the tower potentially. If I bring up the weights again, 3 crystals to enter the tower is a 15% chance. So we're definitely going to be looking at, well, almost definitely going to be looking at additional crystals here.
So yeah, the big thing is how many crystals are in the sign for GT to be open, as we need to bust open that pyramid, as you were saying. So, maybe 3, maybe 7, we don't know.
The last face I covered was 3 to face off against Ganon, but 6 to enter the tower. So there's potential to skip a dungeon here. In this case, the dungeon skip was Turtle Rock, which was a big, lengthy dungeon, so very worth skipping. But we'll see how the seed plays out for our runners.
So, if you're Taale, do you go and check that GT sign right now if you find that the pyramid is closed?
Considering that they are taking the mirror portal, yes.
She's making the right play here in seeing what it is and seeing that the pyramid's closed. I would head right up the mountain.
So we have got a missing flute right now, but we can go into Swamp Palace, clear that, we can go to Skull Woods, clear that, and we can potentially go into Turtle Rock and clear that, but it's going to depend on that medallion. But
no red cane.
Oh yeah, you're going to need cane for both Maya and Turtle Rock, yes. I mean, you could get through Turtle Rock with like extreme amounts of hovering, but nobody wants to do that amount of hovering, right? It's a lot of hovering, man.
No, you don't want to do that hovering. It is literally faster for you to go and search for the red cane in most circumstances than to hover over into the Trinix room. As Taale gets the bad news that the pyramid's closed off, let's see where she goes.
Looking like a mountain play to me. I mean, you could also go and do Graveyard Ledge at this time, and that is a pretty orphaned item check, but there's not much reason to go to Graveyard Ledge at this point. I don't think there's much reason to do many out-of-the-way checks until you are in Medallion Hunt mode.
Yeah. So if you get the news...
We are going to need a cane first, so might as well clear out dungeons, do easy checks along the way, like, say, Spectacle Rock and Old Man, and then think about what you need after you've done your easy checks and easy dungeons.
If Taale finds that it's 5 crystals, we have everything we need to get those 5 crystals. If it's 6, we may be on a medallion hunt, and for sure, a red cane hunt. So, the big number of 5 or below is what Taale wants to see to open GT, and we'll know if it's anything more as soon as we walk by that pyramid. Oh, and there's the flute on the old man. In the mountain.
Oh, you want to get back here quickly? You've got a save and quit spot and the flute. Old man of convenience.
As Ben makes his way into the back of Pod, coming up empty on that big key hunt.
So is Taale going to check out Paradox Cave here? I think they are, but they're probably going to be wanting to make a beeline straight towards Ganon's tower as soon as possible to see how many crystals you do need.
They might be opening up a Turtle Rock portal for it, which makes
they are skipping Paradox Cave for now. I was expecting to see a mirror usage through that crystal block there. Well, not crystal block, block there to check out Paradox Cave, but they're going to open up get into the Turtle Rock portal, maybe open it up if they can, and then go and check Ganon's tower. So
As
Turtle
Ben
Rock is Ether. Ooh.
clearing out Palace of Darkness. We'll see what he heads to do here. Gonna head back left. Going to be finding that Tempered Sword inside of the Dark Maze.
Taale is taking a little bit of time here to check out Super Bunny Cave. Maybe do Hookshot Cave as well.
Again, makes sense. You don't know what GT is right now. You know you need Ether potentially to open up Turtle Rock. You know if it's more than 5 crystals, you're going to need a Red Cane to complete at least either Mire or Turtle Rock. So, good time to go ahead and do it while you're here.
I mean, if you're potentially heading into Gan's Tower with 10 hearts and no green mail, you kind of want more safeties. It certainly makes sense to check this out before doing anything else, because you don't have a guarantee it's going to be 3 crystals. But this Hookshot Cave doesn't have anything nice in it, it's just rupees. Lots and lots of rupees. Ben making their way towards the back of the Palace of Darkness and Coldstone now. Where the tower doesn't open. 6 crystals. This is exactly the same as the last race I covered. 3 crystals to make Ganon vulnerable, but 6 to enter the tower and actually get to Ganon in the first place anyway.
So Taale is on that Red Cane hunt. Maybe a medallion. If I'm Taale, I'm turning in that flute and checking to see what Mire is as soon as I do that. If I could skip Turtle Rock and do Mire instead in go mode, I'm going to do that.
I think the only differences in this race compared to the last one I carved was the previous race was a standard start and the previous race wasn't Randomizer. So we do have a little bit of bot shuffle going on here, but we do have all required items for bosses, so that's not going to play too much difficulty for our runners. So, hey, Taale, you didn't check out Paradox Cave yet. You should really go back in there. They're going to go do Spiral Cave first, and then do Paradox Cave. So, not having the means to access Turtle Rock right now, and only having 1 in 3 chance to access Mizumar, totally makes sense to do this first.
As we see Ben go through his Dark Terrapin room. With that tempered, it's significantly easier to slice through those soft belly turtles, and I just want to remind you, if you are enjoying both of our runners, you can hit that command !R for their Twitch pages. You can do the same for your commentating and tracking teams as well, just !C. You'll get links to our Twitch pages as well.
Ben taking on the Cold Stare Puffery here. Puffery? Creamery. I mean, what could flavor of Cold Stare really call this as? He's kind of blue.
He's blue, baba dee baba ba ba ba. I'm sorry. So there is a small little trick you can do with the Cold Stares with the ice spikes. If you knock them into the spikes, they take damage.
Indeed, every boss in the game, except for one very infamous boss, is vulnerable to spikes. Spikes do the same damage as Gold Sword damage, if I remember correctly. So if you put any boss that's not Morphula into spikes, they will take damage. Morphula specifically is, oh hey, there's that cane. That's very nice to grab.
So yeah, I'm turning in flute and seeing what the Mire medallion is right now.
Oh yes. But anyway, because Morphula is the only well, Helmasaur does have spikes in his room, but Helmasaur doesn't really make contact with them due to the way his hitbox works. But yeah, if you've got another boss that can knock into spikes, Morphula is the only one invincible to spikes because he is the only one that could, in the vanilla game, be potentially knocked into spikes. And that also brings up a rather strange bug where if you have Gold Sword damage in the vanilla game, you can't do damage to Morphula because Gold Sword is the same amount of damage value as spikes. Luckily in Randomizer, the Gold Sword is adjusted to do the same damage as Tempered Sword, so you can poke Morphula with your Gold Sword and still do damage to Morph.
As we summon our magical, majestical, white, quacking, intergalactic space beast of time travel. It is, of course, the Flying Duck. He will take you around Hyrule as long as you are in the Light World, and it is designated with the number 1 through 8. He will gladly carry you off and drop you off. As Ben heading back into his Argus fight, Taale going Quake, 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 Quake. It's Quake! We are in go mode at 51 minutes and 48 seconds. Taale's going to be able to get this seed nice and cleared, head back up to GT, and go fight a pig.
Now they are potentially going to miss that silver arrows from Skullwood, but they've got the tempered sword. It's not going to be too difficult to get through Ganon. Ben can definitely make up some time on Ganon thanks to having that tempered sword and silvers, but they're behind one dungeon right now because they're still taking on Argus in Eastern Palace.
They're behind one dungeon. He's also behind a mountain clearing.
Indeed. So best thing for Ben to do would be to go to the mountain, get that flute, immediately go into Padlock's cave, then go to check Ganon's tab and see, yep, you're in go mode, go do your dungeons. But there's still going to be quite a few minutes behind Taale here.
As Ben picks up his third crystal of the seed, is halfway there to opening up GT and finishing up this seed. Taale here just looking for that big key of Misery Mire. Let's see if we found it. Nope, we're gonna have to go left. Yeah, unfortunately for Ben, he messed up on that Flipper's water walk and then decided to do all of his smith checks versus Taale just went straight through to Pipe Cave, which gave them the fire rod and hammer. So we're gonna have to see a couple of mistakes from Taale for Ben to catch up here.
Yeah, if we're talking about how many minutes behind Ben is with compared to when Taale enters the dungeon and when Ben is potentially going to enter the dungeon, I would say he's probably about 4 to 5 minutes behind now. And that is time that you're not going to make up on Ganon by having silver arrows. So this is going to come down. Maybe he has better luck with Ganon's tower routing and gets that big key to get up the tower quicker, and that might catch him up the time that he needs. But it's going to be... the advantage is definitely in Taale's court right now.
And there's that big key. Taale is going to be able to just go right to the back of Misery Mire. It decides to take the long way. I'm just curious if she's going...
Well, you need a small key, right, to open the door to go to the big key door.
Yes.
So you got to go up. So if you don't have a small key, you got to go up this way to take the teleporter instead.
Yep. And she did steal that key from the room above with the laser boy and the spikes, so...
Now, interesting thing here, Taale is very... Oh, never mind, there was a full magic file here, but I completely forgot about that. But yeah, you don't want to be out of magic for your bosses. I don't believe Taale has any potions at all, so if he ended up with a cold cell or Trinex surprise at the end here, then you could potentially have to mirror out and go get a magic refill. But
as Ben picks up his red cane, he's going to go, okay, do I just assume I'm in go mode with that Quake medallion somewhere, opening up a dungeon? Definitely going to be checking to see what it is to enter into GT.
I think I would spend right now, having grabbed that cane and paradox, I would just completely skip Super Bunny now and just dash straight over to that tower as soon as possible.
Now, Ben will be able to make up a little bit of time here. He does know Spooky Glitch, so he will be able to set that up. But, I mean, that's, what, 15 seconds maybe with Spooky Glitch to save you time?
It's not much. It certainly won't overcome the deficit he has right now.
As we find Blind hovering in some magical poisonous goo.
Yeah, kind of an annoying place to hang out in, because that slime will still damage you. So Taale's actually going to go for Cane of Burner strats here.
perfect strats to use. Kind of in this phase in between, you just kind of hang low and then pop back up into that poisonous goo and hit him with that cane. Ben doing a tablet check here, maybe hoping to see a medallion. We know where he needs to go. He needs to go turn in that flute and head to Mire.
But he's going elsewhere now. So, yeah, he's probably going to go to Spike Cave from here. Or, no, not Spike Cave.
He's going to check Spiral. Ben, what are you doing, dude? You've got all the items you need. You've got one medallion.
He doesn't know that he has all the items, but he really should be just fluting to Maya and checking it out instantly to see if he's going into Tower of Hera.
Why?
Is he mismarked?
Why are you going into Hera, Ben? Go check see what Mire is.
He goes in the basement, sees a small key, and I guess he's going to hairpot. He grabs a map and then mirrors out again. Okay, so yeah, I think he's making mistakes right now, and he's realizing he's making mistakes, but this is costing him time that he can't afford to spend. Taale accidentally runs into Swamp Palace without draining the water, so they couldn't actually do anything in there. Gotta drain the water first.
Yeah, you have one medallion and the flute now. You know you need 6 crystals. Run that gamble to see what Mire is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in medallion hunt mode, then you're going to be hunting for a medallion for Turtle Rock. He knows Turtle Rock is Ether, so I'd go straight to Mire, because if you have to go to Turtle Rock again, because you find Ether first or something, then you're going to be cleaning out Spiral Cave on the way anyway, so go do it then. Just go check out the Mire now.
Yeah, you know you can skip either Mire or Turtle Rock. Go see which one you could possibly skip. Again, both of them could be Ether, you don't know, but again, information right now is what's hurting him.
Did he actually read the sign outside Gannistow? I did not actually see if he read the sign.
Yeah, he read the sign.
Okay, so he knows it's 6 crystals, so he's in item hunt mode, and he really shouldn't be in item hunt mode. This is, I don't like to say it, but it's definitely a misplay at this point. It's giving Taale more of an advantage here.
Again, it's one of those things, I am on a medallion hunt anyway. If you go check Mire, and it's like, it's Bombos or Ether, okay, fine, the other person's going to have to be hunting it too. But it's one of those peace of mind, comfort information pieces that you can use, and...
But again, these are mountain checks, and mountain checks aren't hard to get back to. A Spiral Cave and Spike Cave can be a little annoying, but like Super Bunny Cave and what was it? Yeah, Super Bunny Cave isn't a isn't a difficult one to get back to. Neither is Hookshot Cave. You can just flew to the mountain or save and crit and start in the mountain cave. So,
And there's nothing wrong with being thorough at this point, but you've already made a couple of mistakes. You have to be feeling behind. Taking a gamble isn't the worst thing at this point, versus being safe. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'd say the gambler is doing these checks right now compared to just going straight to Mire. I mean, if you're going straight to Mire and you can't get inside, then yeah, you can go back into item hunt mode. There's little reason to be in item hunt mode right now. Essentially, if you go to Mire, you can see, is it Craig to get in? No, it's not Craig. I will go check out Mire's set and check a board.
And then you progress through doing other crystals.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially since you know you have to do Swamp Palace. That's 6 items you can find in there, so your medallion more than likely is going to be there too. So
he's going into Spectacle Rock. Did he not check out the item in here? It's Blue Mail.
He'll probably bomb jump over to the left as we find Trinex.
I mentioned Trinex surprises, and this is one Trinex so far. We haven't seen any duplicate bosses yet, so we don't know if it's going to be boss shuffle, if we're going to have like duplicate Trinexes? Struggling with plurals today. But It could be multiple Trinexes, could be multiple Arguses, could just be multiple Armor Knights if we stick with simple boss shuffle. We don't know yet.
I do believe the plural for Trinex are Trinexes. Trinoxes?
Sextuple next? It's 6 next.
As Taale picks up their 5th crystal, the seed just needs to go over in Skullwoods, go and hit the back. As Ben continues his item hunt mode. We know Ben needs to make no more item checks. He has everything he needs to do to complete the seed. He does not know that.
If you're starting from, say, Ether Tablet, which you go to after Ganon's Tower, then I would just go over to Maya, because going back to the bottom of the mountain versus fluting somewhere else, it's the same amount of time either way. The only thing you could do a bit faster from the Ether Tablet would be Spike Cave. Taale's stocking up on potions here.
And when Ben turns in this flute and heads over into Mire, he's going to see that quake and probably say some words we can't say on stream.
Yeah, if he's still hunting for medallions, he could potentially decide, I'm going to go into Dark World here and check out Hammer Pegs because I didn't do this earlier. And that would be another time loss. And it would be unfortunate to see. Just get over to Maya. You can flute anywhere else you need to, man.
He'll go check Mire.
Yeah, he's standing still. He's waiting for the duck. He's going to go to Netmire. He's going to see his go mode, but unfortunately, he's going to be... Oh,
2 dungeons behind at probably 3, because Taale just needs to head to the back of Skullwoods here after picking up a small key from the skull here.
He walked over to Maya's shed. He saw the quake. Then he almost thought, go in Maya's shed? Nah, open dungeon. Taale just straight Gramboard in comparison. They just went straight to my entrance thinking, oh, if I can get in, I'm done. I'm good. If I can't, then I'll go out and go check my shed.
Taale has routed this almost perfectly, deciding not to do the Smith Chain while going over to Hype Cave. Got you that hammer and fire rod. She was able to complete her sequence break completely with her flippers, getting the bow. I mean, the bow really hasn't done much in this seed, but, you know, it's still one of those things that, you know, you want to have in case. As Taale here, a little confused as to maybe where to get a key. No, she knows where she's going. Just, this room can be a heckin' problem sometimes. We needed that bow! As we have Armos here inside of Skullwoods. This is not a fun room to have Armos in. I'm just gonna have to be careful here. Really don't want to use a blue potion on what is essentially the first boss of this game.
Now, technically, you don't need bow for Armos Knights. You can just kill them with I think pretty much any other weapon in the game. But having the bow makes this fair bit. Because with these spikes in the room, you are hunting the Armos Knights into spikes constantly. And that one is jumping off screen.
He wanted to take his own adventure. He's like, walls? You know, I'm beyond walls. As 3 more arrows will do it for Armos here.
He just did a very interesting wraparound where he jumped off the bottom of the screen and then appeared at the top.
Listen, Armos, they don't need walls. They're beyond that. As Ben's going to find his big key over here on the right-hand side. Gonna have to take the long walk over to the teleport pad. After getting this chest.
Now, Taale is on 6 crystals. 6 crystals is enough to enter Ganon's Tower, so we are going to be starting the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. So, enter a number between 1 and 22 for where you think that Big Key is. I'm going with my regular guess of 19 because I like to see a nice tour of Ganistar, but I never inflict tower wound on anybody because that's just cruel.
I like seeing randomized room or Bob's chest, so I go 14, because if you do full right or do hybrid right side, 14 is in randomizer room. If you go left, 14 is Bob's chest. As Ben's going to go through his Misery Mire. We'll more than likely see a spooky glitch here from Ben. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little too late outside of Taale taking a fall or a couple of deaths in Ganon's tower.
And Taale made it especially sure to stock up on blue potions before going in, so they're well equipped with 2 blue potions to cover their magic and cover their life.
And
sorry.
There's a spooky trigger for Ben. He's going to make up about 15 seconds here on Taale. Unfortunately, you're going to be trying to cut into a 6-minute lead.
Depending on where that big key is in Ganon's tower, if it's behind where Ice Armos could be, we could be seeing another boss on Ice Armos, and that could potentially be really troublesome. Let us tell you of a boss known as Trinex on Ice, who gives the runners eternal headaches. It's a very rare tale, but it can happen.
As we are going right first, we're going to get our first 2 checks.
We've got a small key, so Taale can continue right if they so choose, and that's exactly what she's choosing to do. Skipping the tower room, because of course tower room is for insane people. Ben opting for some Maya strats here on blind. Probably less efficient compared to using the Cane of Burner, but he's now down in the south of the room, so he's in a safe portion of the room to swing at with his sword. And there goes the boss. Number 3, Compass. Number 4, Red Rupee. Number 5, Bomber's Medallion. And number 6, a Shroom.
And don't forget, our race fans, we do have more races coming up later today. We've got 12 scheduled going forward at 6:10 Eastern on the ALTTPR League Channel number 2. It is a rematch between these 2 teams, Land of the Blind versus the Missing Bows. It is Houston versus some scrub named Worldwide Wimpy. I think he's bad at this game. Revolving Ocelot, do you have any opinions about Worldwide Wimpy?
I think Worldwide Wimpy is a fantastic commentator, but his link to bus skill, well, I'm just going to have to verify that for myself. There's that big key.
As that was 7, 8, 9, number 10.
So don't have to worry about Trinex on Ice today, just make your way to the top of the tower. None of the bosses that can be at the top of the tower are going to pose any problems for Taale. It is kind of limited when what bosses you can see at the top of the tower, so Moldorm 2 has a very big room, and that stops certain bosses from appearing inside it, like Blind. But I don't think we've seen any duplicate bosses today at all, so we may be seeing something here. But as it is, we're going to be dealing with a fairly vanilla gauntlet, so this shouldn't be posing any problems for Taale. They're just using the wall grabs there to move the mimics into place and proceed onwards.
Nice Mimic Room 2 from Taale. That room is not as hard as it seems once you do figure out how to manipulate those mimics correctly. Until you do, though, that room is not fun.
Just gonna walk through the cannonball room here. Not stopping by for a very pit stop in behind the bomber wall, just continuing onwards. Again, 2 blue persons makes this pretty safe to do. Mostly opting for using the bow and arrows to kill enemies in here. Not got too much ammo left. Taale does not have silver arrows, so the amount of ammo they have for Ganon isn't going to matter. They are going to be using tempered sword spins on the last phase. But we could be running into a boss that requires arrows up here, or at least would be much more efficient with arrows, such as Armor's Knight or Vitrius. We haven't seen Vitrius at all. We have seen one Armor's Knight though.
Yes.
Now we can end up with either of those bosses in the Lammerless 2 room coming up. And we could also end up with Vitrius in the top floor as well. In the Helmsaw's, well, not Helmsaw's, Moldorm's room. I say Helmsaw because I tend to see Helmsaw there all the time in Randomizer. And hey, here's Helmsaw down here instead.
As Ben still making checks after doing that diver down clip through the rail, another new glitch that has been approved by the Racing Council, which you can check out on the ALTTPR Discord. You're free to join new or experienced player. It's a great place to go ahead and talk about Randomizer. If you are new, it will have all the resources for you to go ahead and start your adventure in a randomized high roll.
So Ben is still checking chests, and yet they are in complete go mode right now with tempered swords and silvers.
He skipped the waterfall chest. It just may have been muscle memory from doing diver down to check those chests.
I guess, yeah. Still, it is additional time here that he's spending unnecessarily. Time that's not going to make his base disadvantaged in his space, unfortunately for him, but it can make your clear time a little bit more efficient by, say, doing that diver down and not checking those chests. But he picks up his Swamp Palace Crystal. I believe he still has to do...
he has one more.
Skullwood. Yeah, Skullwoods, yes. Taale makes her way upstairs, avoiding any potential glitches from the door locking behind them. Probably not going to be checking out the 2 chests in the mini Helmer room here, just continuing straight on.
Yeah, 11 hearts. Green Mail's a little squishy, but Taale has plenty of potion left. I do believe she has one more blue goo. You could with the boots. Check a fairy as well once you do get to the pyramid. And here's a Mothula.
Okay, so today we only see unique bosses. We don't get to find out what kind of boss shuffle it is at all.
Yeah, it could have been a very simple boss shuffle. Could have been full, as we didn't see any repeats. If it was randomized, we would have seen a repeat or 2. We have seen enough dungeons to know that.
So we're either looking at simple or full boss shuffle, but there's no way to tell unless we start doing extra unnecessary dungeons and checks, which we're not going to do.
Taale, you should go clear out other dungeons now. Oh wait, that's biased of me. My apologies. Oh, a nice triple setup here for Taale, though. Only getting a double, though, I think.
Yeah, I think if you have 2 magic balls hit Hackenen at the same time, it just counts as a single hit because the kind of like damage window runs over. He's got iframes.
Nice double there for Taale. Taking it down, and I think that was a 3 cycle, though.
Yeah, so that was 3-1-2 then, I guess.
Hey, that's a good beer. As Ben's going to need this small key from the Gibdo. Entering into what is their Armos fight on a conveyor belt as Taale decides to go check a fairy. Oh yeah, it's 3 crystals. I can kill them.
Yeah, they did check that sign earlier. Maybe just confirming for safety's sake.
Ben's going to have a little bit of an easier time with the Armosphere with silver arrows. Making up a little bit of time with that. Just, again, too little, too late, we assume.
He's behind the entire Ganon's town now. It's going to take a lot of Ganon force for Taale to lose this race, unfortunately, for Ben.
And that was a perfect Ganon setup for Phase 2. Just stick yourself right inside of that corner and spin away. Now, the teleports in Ganon are no help for Ben, as both runners are going to have the same amount in the first attempt versus Ganon. So...
Yep, the same thing also applies to the number of blue balls that Aga 1 fires. If you do happen to take a death or a fall on either boss foe, the amount of projectiles or teleports that they can use does get randomized.
As Taale playing it safe, setting up the torch glitch first. Oof, takes a bat though. That's no good. 1 swing.
Better a bat than a Ganon hug. You definitely don't want to be hugging Ganon at this time of year.
That's 3 in total. We are 9 spins away. And there's a number 5, so 7 away. Halfway home for Taale, as Ben prepares to enter Dark World and open up his GT. 5 more swings. Missing that one. 4 more swings. Gonna light that torch after baiting out that bat.
Doing an excellent job with Ganon Phase 4 here.
Ooh, takes another bat hug though. And gonna have to reset the torch.
Better bats than Ganon.
1 more swing will do it though for Taale. And there it is. Taale finishing off the pig, making some bacon, and finishes the seed with an SRL time officially of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 43 seconds. And Ben gets the news. He's gonna forfeit the rest of this race. Again, not doing a bad job. Just too little too late, as we will get both runners in here for an interview momentarily. I just want to remind everyone that we do have races going on later this evening at 10:40 Eastern on Speed Gaming. We have Where in the World is Our Gosh Dang Bombos versus Team Kappa. That's Hippo versus our very own moderator and administrator Fear Agent. We have Beard Force 1 versus What Are You Doing in My Swamp? Palace at 9:10 Eastern, as well as we are joined by Ben. We'll see if we get Taale in here as well.
How's it going, guys?
Hey Ben, how's it going, man?
What an absolute jet seed. Holy crap.
Yeah, and Taale literally made no mistakes on that and routed everything perfectly. That was that was, if you decided to do any variation on your route, you were 2 minutes behind kind of seed. As we have Taale joining us. Now, my question, Taale, for you is, what made you skip Smith Chain to go over into Hype Cave to find your hammer and fire rod?
I don't have a hammer. So I decided to wait for Smith Chain until I have the hammer to do everything in this area. So just go ahead. Yeah, go maybe Swamp. Hope to find a hammer, go Swamp, and Yeah, finishing Eastern.
Also, you were able to complete your fake flippers as well. That gave a little bit more time for you. The big question we had is, once Ben found that red cane and flew on the mountain, when would he head to Mystery Mire? And it seemed as though, Ben, you were a little confused once you were over near that ether tablet. Was that because you were kind of feeling behind, or were you just like, okay, what do I need to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, I knew that I was in Schrodinger's Go mode. My thought process was I spent a lot of time doing Smith Chain. If it is this much of a jet seed, and my opponent didn't do that, I'm behind. So I need to hope that I'm not actually in Go mode and that I can make up some time by. I had to hope my opponent made a mistake, basically, and that just wasn't the case.
Now, this mystery seed was, as you said, a jet seed. It also was a simple enemy or simple boss shuffle, from what we could surmise. We didn't see any duplicate bosses on either side. Would you have preferred this mystery seed to be a little bit more convoluted? Maybe Key Sanity, maybe Entrance Randomizer, or was a nice simple seed what you were kind of hoping for?
No, I was absolutely happy with the seed.
Yeah, I've got no complaints about the seed. I had my strat and it didn't work out, but that's just rando. I'm perfectly happy to have a seed that's kind to me for a change.
Now, going forward, next week we have the cross key seed, and then we get into our co-pilot and our co-op seeds. Out of the remaining races that you could possibly run, what are you looking forward to most?
Can I say I absolutely hate cross keys, but I have to play it next week? But with Houston Baba, we practice a lot of spoiler co-op, so I'm looking forward to play spoiler.
Yeah, cross keys should be an interesting week. I've played a bit of that at this point, and sometimes it's like, yeah, this is fine. This is not much, not that much more complicated than regular. And then sometimes I feel like, oh my god, it's a year and a half ago, and I'm playing this game for the first time again. What is happening? Where do I go? What do I do?
So we do have a rematch between your guys' two teams, Line of the Blind and Missing Bow. Later this evening, we have Houston Baba versus some scrub named Worldwide Wimpy. Can you give us a little bit of a scouting report on your teammates and how they run?
I guess Houston Baba should be a little bit better than me. He's a very solid runner, and I hope to see him win.
I hope it's not an entrance rando. Check Light World Hype Cave.
I see what you did there, Ben. I'm watching you. Guess who's got the points on the team?
But Misery is always a funny mode. To figure out what mode it is, the first minute I was praying, please no swatless. I hate swatless.
Alright, well, thank you very much for joining us today on the interview, and GG's to both of you on running the seed, and good luck to both of you running future seeds as well.
Yeah, GG, thanks for the seed.
Yep. GG, grats, Taale.
As Randomizer fans, we currently have races going on Speed Gaming 4 and 2, races between Major Mistakes and Shovel is the True Go mode, and Swedish Rubers versus Kind of Rando Retired. Starting in approximately, let's see here, what time is it now? Oh, a half hour. We have 3 races starting between Team Awesome and Noble Foxes, Last Locationers versus Team Challenge, and WJP TBB versus But We're Buddies. all across the Speed Gaming Network and the ALTTPR Race League. We have a full schedule today, 12 more races to go, including those that I just listed off, the rematch between these two teams, and Late Night Rando at 11:40 Eastern Time tonight. Don't forget, you can follow both of these runners by making that !R command inside of Twitch chat. That will give you a link to both of our runners' Twitch channels. You can do the same for your commentating team. Just use !C. That will give you links to the commentators and trackers' Twitch channels. For myself, Worldwide Wimpy, our co-commentator, Revolving Ocelot, and our tracker, Penguin Tamer, I wish you guys a good rest of your day.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye, and good luck later on.
Yep. Good fortune in the battles ahead.
Feel good luck.